feel about this, don't you? The fulcrum of the cross.
Same thing you screwed it up to begin with.
What's that?
A man.
Yeah, right.
Because if Jesus was the man, we're all.
That's right. That's straight out of Romans 4, 5, 6. Where is it? Very straight. Whereas sin entered the world through one man, so through the second Adam, all is made straight. All is made right.
That's right.
Wow. So the alternative, if you will, to penal substitution is I think of it as more transactional, even more mechanistic. The Father wasn't mad, angry, like Bill's question about, kill all the babies in Jericho. The Father wasn't mad, he wasn't angry, and that anger needed to be appeased. No, the cosmos was wobbling, broken, and there's only one thing that could fix it, and that was for the Creator himself. We get into an interesting question, don't we? Who created everything? The Father or the Son? Anybody have a good answer to that question? We'll take a stab. Yeah, all three. Yeah, all three, definitely. The Spirit brooded over the waters, right, in Genesis 1. The Father is generally, this is my Father's world. That's pretty valid. It's a hymn, but that's valid theology, biblical theology.
The Father spoke.
The Father spoke. But, and yet Hebrews 1 and John chapter 1, in the beginning was the Word was with God, everything, all things were made by Him, none of anything was made, etc. And then Hebrews 1, which has been in my mind all morning. In these last days He has spoken to us in His Son, whom He appointed heir of all things, and through whom also He made the world. That's as close of a hint as we're given. Who made the world? Well, the Father did, but through whom? Through the Son. And again, we're left with whatever that means. I've come up with a number of analogies, but they're all fall short of the truth. That the Father was the executive producer, the Son was the one who did the work, or the Father was the architect, the Son strapped on the tool belt and grabbed the hammer and the saws and did the building. Those analogies all break down, but there's something along that line, that the Father created everything through the Son. And the only thing that could fix this wobbling cosmos was for the Creator, the guy with the tool belt on, to become a part of His creation. And actually, once you get to that statement right there, everything else is almost, what's the word? Fallout. Consequence. The incarnation is the one grand miracle, to use C.S. Lewis's word. The grand miracle is the incarnation. We've thrown it around so flippantly, and have for so many years, that we've lost what it's saying. That God, and here's, I think our human mind goes this far, real easy. God became a man. It's like, oh yeah, sure, cool, yeah, no problem. The part that helps bring it home to me is that God in Christ became a human being ever and always to remain a human being forever and ever. In other words, it wasn't dress up. It wasn't pretend. It wasn't masquerade. It wasn't a little kid in his daddy's clothes, or vice versa. It wasn't the Creator pretending to be a human being. And that's where my mind kind of goes, blah, 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 blah. That Jesus became flesh. And I don't know if your Christology is this well developed, but it should be. He is still flesh somewhere. Now, given quantum miracles, the things that we've learned of quantum, we don't really know what that means. But the one thing it cannot mean is that He's not flesh anymore. We don't know what flesh in the quantum eternal realm really will look like, what will look like. But whatever it is, it's real. It's not unreal. It's not ghosty. He didn't become a man and then go back to becoming God, which is what we are tempted to believe, especially, with the ascension and all that, I get it, he's at the right hand of the Father. Now he's back to being God. Now he's back, he's done with that being a man stuff. And as I've said, we really need to understand that, and again, given quantum miracles notwithstanding, we need to understand that Jesus, when he goes like this, has little hairs on his knuckle, and then he can clean his fingernails like this somewhere today. And then he can scratch the bottom of his foot, and then he can put his hands on his hips. Now that blows my mind. And you don't get that from any natural religion, by the way. All natural religions are quite predictable. God's mad, we gotta appease him. God is powerful, that's natural religion, right? That's Islam. He's big and he's powerful. Oh, he's big and he's powerful. That's natural religion. Nowhere ever in humankind's most outrageous imagination will they've come up with the incarnation. They come up with pretend in modalism or some of the other heresies, silliness we've been through, but we would never come up with authentic. And then that creator become creation suffers at the hands of his creation. That finishes the miracle, if you will, almost. That's what fixes the cosmos. And of course, you can't even say of course. There are two ways to mock the death of Christ. One is the way that Jehovah's Witnesses mock it. And the Muslims, by the way. I read a Muslim master, old historical guy, who was criticizing Christianity. And his basic criticism was, how can you say that God could suffer? That's no God if he can suffer.
Yeah.
Right? That's one. In the JW say, how can God be crucified? That's ridiculous. How can God be killed? God can't be killed. That's one way to mock the death of Christ. The other way is to say, well, he was only dead for 3 days. He wasn't really dead. I mean, dead for 3 days is not dead, right? Well, no, it's not right at all. The Creator, God, Creator, became part of his creation forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever, molded, welded, actually not created.